Welcome to Kinkazoid. What's good? Your boy
podcast, where you get some education.
What is the point? What is the whole fun having it?
With your hosts, Royal, Chase, and Trey Proper. Buckle your seatbelts because it's gonna be a wild ride. Let's get kinky.
We gonna get this.
Okay, so welcome to Kinkazoid. It's your boy Trey Proper. We are gonna get this right at some point in time. We gonna work this out, but you gotta build it while you're flying.
Watch me the damn cues.
Hey, it is what it is. Got a great show lined up for you. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you can, go ahead and drop likes on YouTube, Facebook, whatever have you. Share the link. Help us get the thing out there so we can get more people to join the conversation. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts. Ladies, if you would introduce yourselves.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Royal.
What's going on? It's your girl, Chase C. Hayes. No matter how you say it, as long as that flavor stays in your mouth.
Excuse me, whole tagline and stuff. My shit is just... Alright, let's go.
Alright. What is the point of having an intro? See, they can hear you, dude. But Chase, you got an announcement here?
Yes. So for today's show, we are going to have our first guest, which I'm really, really excited and happy about. He is a dear friend of mine, and he is a watcher of the show every single week, and we love our supporters. And just forewarning, if you ever want to become part of the show for any reason, you can always hit us up. You can DM us on Instagram, too, on Kinkazoid Podcast, and let us know if you want to join the show. But here is my dear friend, Dennis. Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause, round of applause. Hey!
It's good, homie.
Welcome to the show, my boy. Welcome to the show.
Okay, first of all, sorry, where's your face?
Celebrity pop-up.
Where's your face?
Pop-up. You can come into the...
If you don't get on camera, we ain't gonna do this.
No, this is not the cameo the celebrities do.
Alright,
and then everybody's just wilding out. Like, this is...
All right. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Of course, we have our Toy of the Week. Our Toy of the Week, we've all selected different versions of it, but we're actually talking about male strokers, a.k.a. male masturbators, a.k.a. pocket pussies. So we have made a various selections. I'll go first. Mine's is, the name is the Men's, I think it's the Menzies. Crap, got the name of it that quick. But it's basically, I chose a cheap version. I've actually had personal experience with this one. It is a male stroker. It is going for $37, $40 on Amazon. You can actually get stuff like this on Amazon. I'm surprised we can even do that anymore. But it's got about 10 different levels of vibration. It's got the suction. It's actually got a canal for it and everything. And the shut up, Leo. The plastic portion removed so you can easy cleaning, services, whatever have to. And it's pretty, it's about, it fits a regular smuggler dude. So yeah, it does what it needs to do.
You got to get some measurements.
I was about to, but I was like, nope, can't do that on the YouTubes. All right, who wants to go next?
Okay, I guess I'll take it. So, my toy, well, I guess my pocket pussy of the week is called the Lilo F1S. So, Trey went old school. I'm going to take it high tech on y'all asses. Basically, this one is app friendly. I know if y'all don't remember the first show, I did another app friendly vibrator, and this one just happens to be for the men. So this one has a dual motor for optimal pleasure, and this joint has sonic waves, cruise control. Okay, it even has a window panel so you guys can keep the eyes on the prize, so to speak. It is retailing at $189, but you can get it on sale for right now at $151.20.
Okay, all right. I don't know what the window's for, but I'm not watching. I know what's going on. I'm watching the video. That's a bit much. Like, me? Like, come on now, come on. Like,
I'm the type of person, like, I think everybody is like that, where they have that thing where they want to watch something happen. Like, I'm the type of person to, like, watch. I want to know what's going on in the wash machine while it's turning. Like, I'll watch videos of somebody put a camera inside of a wash machine and go. So there's some people who might be interested in seeing, like, what's going on while it's happening. That might be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For Snapchat.
There you go. All right, so for my toy, I have the Tenga egg. Okay, so it's a disposable egg, so you can use it preferably once if you like. It's a real quick little. Unless you're dirty, it's a real quick, like, want to, get a little lick off the tip, you know what I'm saying? Real quick, you can find it at usstore.tanga.co. It comes with a variety pack, so you can get a 6-pack for $39, or you can get one for $6.50. Now, the great thing about these eggs is not just the inside feels like the same on all of them. You can get the variety pack, and each one of the eggs has a different curvature on the inside, different texture. So there's wavy, there's bumpy, there's one that like has different like linear vibrations and stuff going on inside of it. So you can get a whole pack for $39 to enjoy them for, the whole, every single day of the week except for Sunday. Keep it holy. So, yeah.
Except for Sunday, keep it holy.
Yeah. And it comes in like an egg carton. It's really cute. Like it comes like it's like an egg carton.
I'm not. I've had. I don't own one of my own personal stroker. I don't understand the. I'd rather just go get the real thing, but I understand the purpose of it is that you possibly can't get it at the time. But Angela's still here. Like Angela and some virgin olive oil. We good to go. So. But to have, when you said bumps, that threw me all the way off. Like, wait, bumps?
Well, like obviously, like like if it's
like ridges,
what is that? Like ridges. Like yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like when I say ridges, that's like the zigzag form of it. But if I say bump, it's just like kind of like a rabbit, like the part that goes inside the female. There's like bump like patterns that's around it to give like some type of texture and feeling.
Okay. All right. Cool. I mean, because if I go into somebody and I feel some bumps, some problem.
Okay, we have our different phrases for different reasons, but we actually, Dennis here has personal experience with one of the toys that we've spoken about, if not one exactly like it, one in the same family of it. So Dennis, tell us the name if you can remember it. Tell us the memories that you've had with this machine that you have here and the good times that you enjoyed, and or not.
Unfortunately, I don't remember the name. I saw it on Twitter. And one of my friends got it for me. And
ain't it great when girls buy you toys?
Right? They pick up on stuff like, you gonna think about me when you use this. So beautiful. But it was nice. It hit that whole what's the term everybody be like, the Gaga 3000. It had that one setting. So it'll rotate and then it'll stop and rotate the other way. And if you got just enough coconut oil in there, it's amazing.
Okay,
coconut oil.
Now, Royal, you said yours was temperature controlled.
It is temperature controlled, and that was something that I missed in my description. But yes, you can set the temperature, you can set the pressure, you can set the speed. So you got a whole bunch of different controls.
The reason why I brought that up because we talked about this before the show, and that Joe said you said that the review said what temperature?
The review said that it was set at 26.6 degrees Celsius, which is about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is almost 20 degrees below normal body temperature. Yeah,
not normal, a live person.
A live person. Yeah.
That's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we like. Yeah, you go ahead and go futuristic, but the Terminator pussy, I don't want it. I'm good. I'll pass.
That's weird. Dennis, with your toy, did it like at any point in time? Did it like the inside of it give? Like did it have no walls no more? Like, is there a way that you can purchase new walls for the machine?
I don't think they have replacement parts, but it can get stretched out, and they don't come back.
Dang.
It's not like the real thing. No snapback for that. Cyber wop.
Cyber wop.
Jeez, that's too bad. Oh well.
But yeah, I mean, guys, we'll drop the links in the kinky link section of our Discord if you want to find them. If you like to purchase them, check in the comments. Ty actually said it's good. She wants the window so she can see what's going on. Like, if you there with him, why use it? But yeah, anyway,
we like to watch.
We like to watch too.
That is you know what? We can have that masturbation conversation at some point because some of y'all do like to watch that, and we have made mention of you asking for the finished climax videos from us. So yeah, we'll definitely talk further into that. But our conversation today is actually, Mr. Dennis mentioned it earlier, the Gok 3000. I recently dropped a video on TikTok. It's doing pretty good. It ain't on Chase numbers yet, but it's getting up there of examples of the emotions and the feelings that men go through as they're receiving orbs. Mouth pleasure. I can say
not mouth pleasure.
That's not a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more acceptable, but it still has like the dirty feature to it. Just
Oh yeah, because it's definitely. Now, me personally, I think I've mentioned on the show before. It takes me a while when doing that because I just kind of want to get into. I want to get to the pussy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, all right, you've done everything you can, but it's also fun to see to put that challenge on women. Like I've lied about this before. I've never come from here before, so I'm giving that woman the incentive to try to make it happen, and they just be trying their little hearts out best they can. So, but we do want to get into the conversational portion of this, your personal experiences and how you feel about it. But we also want to talk about the female version. Now, for those of you who are not the uninitiated or unaware, the Gok 3000 is. I'm not going to make the demonstration with my hands, but both hands are in use. There is a twist back and forth motion and liposuction and a lot of, marginal bowel spit. Depends on your preference. But it usually makes the noise when it's hitting the back of the throat of the Gok. Not going to imitate it. You know what I'm talking about. Ladies, have you ever performed the Gok 3000?
I think if a 35-year-old woman
twist her hands. Yeah, go ahead, Chief. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I think if a 35-year-old woman says that she hasn't done it, she lying her ass off. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
But no, Chase, go ahead.
Receiving mad knowledge.
No, I don't. Receiving mad knowledge.
Oh.
Well, Gok 3000 is like a basic level play. If you're not talking about the double twisted hander, 5,000, I don't know, what you're doing.
Okay, all right. I've received it before. But again, it's special when it happens, but it's not everything to write home to if you've had enough of it. But Mr. Dennis, could you regale us with an example of what you've been through with it?
I'm sorry, Dennis. Pause. You said if you've received enough of it, like you done with the whole deal altogether.
I've really come from the school of thought, and it's just for me personally. I've received enough head that it's not much new you can do. You can use a grapefruit, you can use a fruit roll-up, you can use whipped cream, you can use chocolate. I'll be happy when somebody surprises me with a different type of head.
I'm sitting over here like, sir, who hurt you?
No, and this is where Dennis comes into play. Dennis, give us your tell-all of what you feel about when it comes to women specifically in your experience of their head giving or trying of that.
Man, honestly, in my experience, I can count on one hand how many times I have actually had that performed on me. And I'm 31 years old, and I've been doing a lot of fucking, man. And it just ain't happened. So it started off with I wasn't really into it. Like T. Proper said, I just want to smash. So it's like, all right, you do what you do, but I know what I came here to do. So then I started dating women, and when I was actually dating them, I started wanting to hey, you can try that. But it started to turn into more of a chore rather than how I would hear from my homeboys, where it's more like, oh, it sounds like she has no problem just doing this. And that continued up until last year. So still kind of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned into something else where it's just this whole other concept that I can't even identify with. So if it was to happen to me, I'd probably just be like, all right, cool, because I can't identify with it.
So you said it is like a chore. Well, they're doing it like it feels like a chore. So it's like you feel like they're just doing it just to like get the dick hard.
Nah, just like let me do a little something just so more for their ego. Like I'll give you an example. One of my exes, she was saying she tried to do something. Oh, I'm trying to get my stories together. There's a lot of this shit. So she started to lie about things where she was just say why she wouldn't want to do it and why she can't. And eventually got to the point where she was just like, I'd rather, if you were my husband, I would do this, but since you're just my boyfriend, it's just like a cop-out.
How these motherfuckers realize that you are auditioning to be my wife?
What are you talking about?
Okay, but look, let me tell you real quick. I can identify with that, okay? So let me tell y'all about my issue. Not my issue, but like something that happened with me and my husband in the very beginning. So in the very beginning, right, I was one of those girls who would just, give head just to get the dick hard or whatever. And like I knew I was good at it, but if you were just like my jump off, I wasn't going to give you my A grade, right? So in the beginning, I was giving him my C grade because he was my jump off. And and so once we moved into the like dating phase, and he seemed like he was a little, he could take or leave the head or whatever. And I was like, okay, what's the issue? And he told me what the issue was, that he wasn't enjoying it. And I was like, oh, because I'm not treating you like my boyfriend. And he was like, give me the boyfriend treatment. And I'm married. So that's the end of that story.
Real quick, Manny Lewis on YouTube said, like sympathy head?
Kind of. Not necessarily sympathy head. Because even sympathy head, you're putting a little bit more into it. Like, the I'm just trying to get it hard. It's like, okay, let me, a little bit, and then we good. Let's go.
So, I see the comment. I got to scroll back up to see who, but it's just like, you got to find the giver in her. So, even in jump-off situations, it's my personal belief, if you want to get some special attention, you gotta earn the special attention first off, and then you gotta coax it out of. You gotta coach her through it. Some women like to be audibly told what to do in their position. Telling you communicating, and that's one thing we do preach here. Communication is big. Communicating with her exactly what you want to happen, exactly what you need to get to where you need to go. I'm a petty bastard, so I'm gonna make her work for it. But if I wanted to go down that road, you got to communicate. You got to find the giver and motivate her. And some women work well off of audible stimulation. They like to be motivated. They like to be congratulated and feel like they've done a good job. So that might help. Not assuming or jumping into
real quick.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's my strike with that shit, because acts of service is my main love language. So when it comes to something, I can't do that myself. So I want to just lamp up, chill, and you do what you do, and I'm enjoying it because this is the ultimate form of something you can give a person, because I literally can't bend down and do that myself. So it's like, I don't want to talk about nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to enjoy myself. And that be what I give to the other person, even though that may not be how they want to receive that. Like, they might want to have somebody talk to them. I mean, I do shit like that. But it's like, I want you to be comfortable while I'm doing something to you that you have never received before, and you also can't do yourself. So, shut the fuck up. It's just, it's a dick, bro. And just, I'm chilling.
Yeah, so stays out.
This is very simple, man. It's very simple.
Yeah.
So Royal, I know your face is like confusing. So okay, so let me break down. So the conversation, right? Because we've had this prior conversation, right? And that's pretty cool. Why I wanted to bring him on, because I know this was like something that he can give full engagement conversation in and everything like that. Because unlike most men, you have one that hasn't received, or not trying to downplay you, Dennis. I know you my G, but you have one that hasn't received the greatest amount of head, that he could possibly get in his adult life,
right.
being, sexually active. And there was a conversation we had, and the frustration level had just gotten really high that day. And it just came down to the point where about like you know how the show I forgot that movie with Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. in it. He's like, "Give me the money."
Tom McGuire.
Yeah,
Tom McGuire.
yeah.
I'm on the thank you. Yeah.
Jerry Maguire,
just like,
not Tobey Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, right? It was just like, give me the money. He was just like, it's just a dick. It's just a dick. It's just a dick. Like he was really adamant about it's just a dick. Like he like all you gotta do is grab that motherfucker and suck it. That's it.
No.
Like he just got really irate. Like it was crazy.
Hey, we might have our first merch in the comments. Jamaica said, "Shut the fuck up, bro. It's a dick. Put that on a t-shirt."
Freakazoid. Literally. So I want to bring because it's just like it's because I know like Royal Feast is kind of like okay, you gotta talk to me like that, but like you have to understand there are some people who haven't received the greatest, like you know that you call it. Like I haven't received like maybe on like I'm on the same count. I've received on like a handful, not even the fullness of the hand of people who've been able to perform cunnilingus in the way that I would want them to towards me. Right. And that's why I made like a recent video on TikTok where it's just like your eating game is worse than your stroke. I'm just gonna stop doing what you think you're doing and just stroke, bro. I don't even want you down there no more. Like you're just like, you know. And then here's the problem because I'm gonna get into my gawk part of it too. Mm-hmm. But then there's the problem where it's you believe that you're good at it, and I don't know who told you that you were, but I don't know if it's because she was trying to moan her way out of it. Maybe another female liked a way that you thought you could bring over to me, and maybe I would like it, but that's not how it's going to work. And this is my whole thing that I always try to like tell people. We give you a GPS guide to what makes us feel better. You know what I'm saying? Every turn, every moan, every yes, every every single thing, we are telling you exactly where to hit. And there are some females who won't speak, but like there are females who that's why guys like you hear the harder, higher, this, that, like you give yeah, you're gonna give your guided directions because even if you are good, you still might need some direction of like if I'm almost there, I'm going to tell you go a little faster. If I need you to slow down because I want to enjoy it fast, like more, just to like take. So even with, whether you're good or whether you're bad, you're going to get directions of what you're doing.
Right.
But like if you're bad, there's a way you can tell you're bad. Like if I'm just giving you petty little here and there, and I'm not really doing much, and especially if I ain't touch your head, what's the point? What are you doing here? Like, what are you doing here? And then when it turns in terms of the fellatio game, my double twisted 5,000, you know what I'm saying? I take pride into that. And just like she say, like, if you're not giving what it was supposed to give, I can't give you what you was looking for. Okay? So if you come in here on, like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a sizist or anything like that, but I like to enjoy whatever I take in. And if I'm going, it's that. I don't know what you want me to do with that. I don't know what you want me to do with that. I don't know. Okay, if I can't get a handful and I'm doing like, what do you want me to do with that? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? So that's just what it's like. In order to, if you have a person who enjoys giving head, like there are certain sizes.
They're so fun.
There's certain sizes that you enjoy giving head to, and you know how to handle, certain sizes and stuff. Now, somebody coming here swinging a whole baby arm, between your legs, I'm like, whoa, go back to where you came from, because that's not. I don't know where you thought that was happening.
I think the whole thing is that. I think the whole thing is
what you finna get is the tip. Like that's what you finna get. Like that's just because I'm not trying to kill my esophagus for nobody. That's like, you know what I'm saying? But if you can go to the base and do what you gotta do,
Yeah, but you have to find somebody that not only enjoys doing it, but then you also have to find a partner that is willing to learn your body. Yes. I know we've had that conversation so many times. But it's just like when you down there, don't just do what the fuck you think I'm gonna like. Like your ex-girlfriend might have liked it, but I might not like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
at one
you
point,
have to,
I literally had to like.
I see what y'all doing.
what we doing?
Y'all trying to flip.
No.
Y'all trying to flip what I said around
Last, because we said the same thing. We said the same thing. No.
You're gonna learn what you like.
No, there's like one time I literally had to pull the lips back because I got the Garfield. I had to pull the lips and I was like, "It's here, the button.
It's
right
right
here.
there.
You
It's literally right
that.
here.
Please."
I don't
know,
understand
'cause
how guys miss that.
there.
That
Okay,
don't make no
it's there.
sense.
But then you got the opposite of that, where dudes, they know where it is, but they overstimulating the fuck out that joint. Like, back up off of it just a little bit.
Yeah, it's like if it's right here, they're like, "Oh, let me go over that real quick." Like it's like, why? Why? And like this is not a myth, and I don't want men to think like, "Oh, that ain't me. That's not me." Baby, there's so many videos of us making fun of it that you can't tell me that it's not you.
But it's like your positioning. You got the thumb here, and you're lifting, and you like.
A lot of men don't know
how
that.
you miss that.
A lot of
like
men don't know
honestly,
the different thing here.
I learned honestly. Full disclosure, I learned this shit from Real Sex on HBO.
When you was a kid, right?
When I was a kid.
Exactly.
Like, I stayed up until 12 o'clock at night, and they were like, they showed you what to do. They showed, and the button popped out. I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And the clip popped out. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But,
the clip popped out.
and real quick, shout out to a new follower, Elijah Lawrence. Thanks for following. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Elijah.
Yeah, we appreciate you, homie. But yeah, it's real simple. So but we've had the conversation about the God cock. So I do have a question for you guys, for the ladies specifically. Can you think of an equivalent nomenclature for the male version of what we would be doing to you in that case?
No, because there's not a noise. I don't know about Royal, but to me, there's not a significant noise repeatedly being used, whether good or bad. There's not really, unless you're talking about if the dude does the whole thing where he sticks his whole entire tongue out and just licks like a dog, not like a dog, but kind of like up and down.
Lapping at it.
Well, I mean, that's an added motion.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But with that, it's that. But who wants to have a name after that? That sounds like a zombie, like an apocalypse is upon us. Nobody want to hear that. So, other than that, there's nothing. Even if you wanted to say slurper, slurping is afterwards. What's happening in the action?
Right.
Royal, what noise comes into your brain? Thinking about it.
Honestly, I can't really think of one. I mean, outside of the slurping noise or something like that, but that's afterwards.
So you call them the slurpees, huh?
The slurpees, shut up. Only shit I can think of is the tongue twister 3000 or some shit like that. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head because there's no sound.
Yeah, there's
I
no
in
noise.
the comments, if you have any suggestions for what we should call it, please drop them in the comments.
Please, yeah, because I think even with the tongue thing, a lot of people don't even use. Some people don't use their tongue. They're more focused on their lips or something. They'll their lips, or they'll they'll suck, or something, or they'll use their tongue, but they're not sticking it out, so it's not a splash. If that makes sense.
I'm sorry, real quick. Jamaica said the Nom 200.
Nom 200. All right.
The Nom. Okay, that sounds like something out of a food store. Nom, the Nom good.
Nom.
The Nom.
I was partial to being called, and I've used this term before. We actually used it for the name of the episode. I've been called a cunning linguist. It's a play on word because I'm cunning with the pussy, and I'm linguistic because I'm going to talk to that motherfucker in multiple languages. So, I say we call it that.
I'm just saying, if you're not tongue kissing it, what are you even doing?
Pig Latin. Oh, I'm tongue kissing the hell out of that motherfucker. I'm talking to it. You cannot just up and down, left, right. You can't just do your ABCs. You got to suck that motherfucker. You got to suck the lips, the labia, the clit. You got to put your tongue in that motherfucker. You got to go down and the super fucking exactly. You can get two of them in there.
Okay.
And also, I think I've said this before. The G spot is only about that far in. So why you sucking on that clit? You got to work that motherfucker too. So, and these fingers stay clipped. This motherfucker, they don't get clipped. But these two stay clipped for a reason. Because I ain't gonna fuck nobody up. So.
Good job. Good job. Knowing about the nail length. Good job.
Yeah, please. Because I just made a video on TikTok talking about how a man's nails are so clean in a video. I was just I know when he go in here, he I know he went in there and he washed his hands. You know, he did his due diligence. So Dennis, let us know, like, what do you feel about, like, you know, the cunning linguist?
Trey should be a writer.
Cunning linguist. Would you call yourself like Trey is a cunning linguist?
Cunning linguist.
Cunning linguist. My apologies, my good sir.
I would say yes. Haven't met a woman that I can't satisfy, and
excuse me, can't say that.
Okay, talk your talk.
Pro tip for any guys out there. So if you're fingering, because T-Prop would probably know this. So it's two ways to help along with like the stimulation. So like if you got your thumb, your middle finger, and like you still sucking on that click. If you go in downward, that's more focused on the walls. But once you turn that motherfucker like this, and you rub them ridges up there, that's when you get her.
That's the G spot. Yep.
There you go.
And gentlemen, don't go too far in because she can have a shallow vaginal shaft, and you can actually end up poking her cervix.
Wait a minute, shallow vaginal shaft. Look at him knowing the lingo and shit. Okay,
we love an educated man. We love an educated man.
Love an educated man.
But you got to be careful. That's why your phalanges have to be taken care of.
Not phalanges. Now he's doing the most.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the most. You're damn right. Yeah. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that? Anybody? Okay. So, Chase, sorry, I apologize. Earlier you basically said the stroke was better than the lick. So, my question to you is, because we preach, what do we preach here?
Honesty.
Communication. Why wouldn't you, so in that particular situation, I'm not sure and I'm not assuming anything, but why wouldn't you communicate with that individual to guide him to giving you better oral pleasure? What?
It's not that I don't. I do. Mm-hmm. I should. And even before, like, that even happens, like, and we're doing we talking that talk on the phone, like, what we like, what we don't like, whatever. I always make it a thing, and I always say, I have not had a person, except for one, be able to make me come from head. And that was it. And I tell them the situation of the reason of why that was the only person who made me come from head. And then you get the typical... Oh, all right, well, we'll see. Like, you know, we'll see when I get there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm letting you know right now. And I'm not saying this to try to, like, because I know that there's some people out there who will say it to make the person perform more, to gain something out of it, even though they know they're already going to come from it. I'm not one of those people. But when I tell, and I think we've had this conversation last week when we're talking about, like, you know, clitoral or vaginal stimulation. I'm just part of that 83% that vaginal penetration is not going to do nothing for me. It's going to feel good, obviously, but it's not going to do anything for me. I'm more of like a clitorally stimulated person. So when I'm telling you, penetration-wise, you're not going to get a reaction out of me except for, damn, that feels good. And then when it comes to you performing cunnilingus, yeah, it's going to feel good, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to do it because there was already that one person who did it and all the rest failed. So therefore, I'm letting you know. And then it's well, you know, I'm going to do it. I bet. So when you come, because you already prepared it in your brain that it's me, I'm the issue, I'm the problem, and you're down there doing whatever you're doing, yes, and this is how I'm going to say it. If you're touching a button that's main purpose is to make us feel something, you're going to have a reaction. So even if you suck, you're touching something that's going to give us a reaction. We're sensitive to it. So therefore, we're going to still moan, even if you're the worst person. So just because we're moaning doesn't mean you're the greatest. I just want everybody, because for whatever reason, people just forget that part. That like, the clit is mainly for stimulation. So I can say, just like I said, I pulled lips back and said, hey, bro, it's here. How are you missing this thing? Because it's not a little small piece. It's
so you did, okay. So I
guide people to doing, like, you know, here, there, faster, lighter, suck, spit on it. Like, I'm a talker when I'm sexually engaged with a person. So I'm letting them know what's going on. If at a certain point that I feel like at this point it's just like, I just feel like I know I'm not going to get pleasure out of it. And at this point, I just don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want you in between my legs with your head. I don't want you, I'm over it. Because then at that point, I start losing interest in the sex engagement. Because I just don't want it no more. Just give me a stroke at this point. Like, at least with the stroke, I can make it better for myself depending on how I'm positioning myself. even if you suck, I can try to make it a better, play for me. But there's some people that if you tell them, hey, you're probably not going to be able to do it, in their brain, they're like, no, I'm going to do it. Just like you said, Trey, like he's going to do it. Like my ex, he was just like, oh, I ain't never came from head before. And I was just like, I bet I gave him head and he came. He was like, oh, this is so crazy. In my head, I was just like, you probably lied. It's fine if you lied. But his reaction gave me like, he literally has never done it before. So I was like, okay, I guess I can believe you, but I probably lied. But it is what it is. I mean, what can I say? The kid got game. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that whole situation to me. So, Trey, we always preach communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have anybody that's willing to learn, willing to listen,
I agree.
Communicating is pointless. You know what I'm saying? Because and I am on the same page as Chase in the fact that I've only had one person to make me come from head, and I am married to him. Okay, like
you made the right choice.
Facts. Because everybody before him,
when I grow up,
everybody before him was, they didn't want to listen. They thought they knew what they were doing. When I tried to guide them in another direction, you know what I'm saying, or tried to help in any type of way, they would get offended. So if you're not open to receiving constructive criticism, I guess I'll call it, why are you down there? You know what I'm saying? You don't know.
I agree. I think, I'm not putting the burden of communication. I don't believe is on the female's part, in my opinion. The burden of communication is on the man. That's why I say things like, you gonna learn because I'm going to teach you and I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to be a dictator. I'm giving gross examples when I'm saying you gonna learn, but it's a give and take. If you can't speak to your partner and tell them implicitly what you like, what you don't like, and use that to your advantage to curtail that, you're losing. You're not going to win this game, and she going to marry the next nigga that's going to do it the right way. So I'm big on communication, but it is on us as men, as straight, cis, whatever all the names is. It's our job to set the tone, set the expectation, and figure out what your woman wants. And sometimes she doesn't have to be verbal with it. Sometimes it is a move, it is a shiver, it's a twitch. There are different things that will tell you're on the right path. So
I don't know, that twitch is not always truthful.
I'm not saying it's not. Look, we not gonna get into the.
It depends on each person too. Like some people, like I know, will like a hand on the shoulder will let me know. All right, this is going good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and stop putting your hands on our heads. Please. Unless it gets into a certain... Wait, Roy, I got you, girl. Unless it gets to a certain point. When it gets to I understand the head is either one... The hand on the head is either one, a guidance, or two, I don't want you to stop, so I'm going to keep you right here. So... Either way, I understand the implications of why the hand goes on the head. I understand it. I'm saying that the hand on the head, when like you go into like jamming, forcing point, that's when that's when I think that it's not appreciated, because there's a difference between you're enjoying yourself and you really want me to get into it more, understandably so. But when you're basically going to throat fuck me without me knowing throat fucking is even happening, no. Because because I'll throat fuck. Now, if you want to throat fuck, okay, I'll tell you to get into the correct position for that to be comfortable for me to do. But you can't just automatically start, especially if I'm in mid going down and you just. That's how we stop breathing, people.
If we don't want to murder scene.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Chase.
Let me flip that question back in a different way. If you had a person that didn't satisfy your needs, were you able to tell them afterwards? Like, did you take, like, this was bad sex or this was bad head or anything? Because I've only done that with one person. And a week went by. I didn't talk to them, didn't call them, didn't nothing. And then they called back and was like, damn, the dick was that bad. He knows what I'm talking about. He's like, damn, the dick was that bad. And I was just like, what? That's crazy because I just stopped talking to him. But then I ended up having to tell him, this is all the things that you did horribly when you was out here sizing your game up, and this was really, really bad. And then try to blame it on alcohol, and I'm like, no, baby, because even when I blacked out, I'm a professional, so you can't even blame that on alcohol.
All right. Well, does you want to take this one on first?
Yeah, I'll go. I never could tell because ego. And women have that ability to make you feel bad for making them feel bad. And I don't have time for that shit. So I'll talk to you when you're eating. That's the easiest time to talk to you. I'm like, so about the other night, how you feeling about this? So it'd be like that.
Damn, what we say something wrong? What happened?
I think her camera went up.
Oh, shit.
Chase?
Hey, up.
Did we lose it?
No,
okay,
I'm still here. Go ahead. I'm still here.
Keep going.
Yeah, that would be my experience. I couldn't speak on it unless it's like food is involved.
you gotta give her an appeasement.
There you go.
I agree. It's very hard to have that after you. It's hard to have that conversation after you've already fucked her, because you've already been inside her holy of holies, and then to give her a critique on it. I'm not going to say all women, not all. Some women will take that, and it's just the end of all things with you guys. She won't be open to hearing the constructive criticism, and everything is going to be an attack as opposed to I'm trying to help. So that's why communication is key, and you got to have those conversations. And it's good to do it with some food. Like, let me take you out to eat and make sure you full, you're satisfied before I tell you, yeah, you're bicuspid. I can feel that. So do something different than what you did, because I don't want no scratches on this helmet. All right, let's do this the right way. But yeah, it's oral sex in general. It is something to be handled delicately until you start throat fucking her. Anyway, so moving on to our next segment. Our next segment is actually kind of related. So, how do you guys feel about foreign objects being placed into your nether regions? Like, is there anything that you would not want to be placed in that way? Like,
define foreign objects.
Foreign objects. Let's specifically guns.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
Yeah, no.
Pictures will be up on the screen soon, because I was in my Twitter scrolling, and don't follow me on Twitter because you're going to see a whole bunch of porno. But anyway, I'm just scrolling down Twitter, having a whole, just like scrolling, like, ooh, titties, ooh, ass, that's fun. And I come across this one picture that should be up there soon, where this young lady she's in the passenger seat, she's got her legs cropped up, and I'm assuming her significant other has a 9mm pointed directly in, and it's in her cooch. And it made me question what is going through the minds, and I don't want to sound like the old man, but what the fuck is going on with the minds of the young women these days? It is like, I've seen it before a long time ago, but that was like in the context of a porno. But now this is like regular day with people, and the dick is that good that you can convince this nigga convince you to put a gun in your pussy. Like, I don't understand that. How do you guys feel about that situation?
Well, at first I didn't see the gun. The gun was not even in the picture for me. I know it's there, but I didn't see it. So that's why when you had shared it to us and you were like, what energy is this person talking about? I'm like, yeah, energy. If we riding, cuff what's yours. Get a good grip on it. You know what I'm saying? But then when you was like, what do you mean? I looked deeper in the picture. I was like, oh, there's a bullet. There's a bullet. That's crazy. There's a whole bullet. Like, I think everybody loves, and I know some women want to sit here and lie about it, but I think all women love a bad boy. Like, they all love somebody who has some form of bad boy in them. And that doesn't mean you've been out here running these streets, on the corner at 5 o'clock in the morning, slinging dime bags and nothing. That just means to me, that means you have some aggression in you. Like, I have, like, some protection on me. When I'm with you, I feel protected. I feel like if something were to go down, you would have my back. Like, and then there's also that aggression in there that, I just kind of like. Put me in my place appropriately. Especially if I'm wilding out, if I'm too hungry and I'm whining and something like that, like there. But like, don't have your nine near my cooch talking about whose is this. So, Not you no more. You crazy, insane animal. What do you do? I understand the term shoot up the club, but they didn't mean literally. Like, I mean, dang. Wait, relax.
You did that.
Goodness gracious.
Nah, that's his.
No, so okay, this is how I feel
so
about it, right?
You condone this behavior.
He fucking her good enough for her to consent to that. That's his.
Nah.
What if it was a consensual?
That's a whole day. That's dead. That's a whole day
you
situation. I don't give a fuck if it's consensual, non-consensual, whatever. There are women who have, you know, the type of kink where they're attracted to danger, like the cocking of a gun will turn them on or whatever. Trey, we had this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And women who are into knife play, there are people who like the dangerous aspect of it, and like Chase said, women like a bad boy. You know what I mean? Especially the younger generation who have not learned the lessons yet, and you know don't really understand what the consequences are of being in a relationship like that. Regardless of, you know, what type of man you like or whatever the case may be, you putting a gun in my cooch is a definite hell no. Because you driving for one, what if the fucking gun goes off? Okay? Not only am I injured, but I'm possibly dying. I may not be able to walk again. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And how messed up in the brain are you?
And then what's the point?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's just... And then how do you explain... Like, how do you explain that to your mama? Like, how do you just... You in the hospital.
But forget your mama. How do you explain that to your future partner? Oh, yeah, I have no feeling below my waist sexually because I let my man put his gun to it because he said, whose is this? And I said, mine. And he was like, pow, pow. Like, I don't, like, how do you put that? Like, you're no longer going to be with a person, like, at all.
There are I feel like there are better ways to establish to mark your territory and establish your dominance in the bedroom besides, you know, pointing a gun at the puss. Like, nah, that's the holiest of holes, homie. Come on now.
Nah, there's no other way.
What do you mean there's no other way? Please elaborate.
Think about how high they are on all the feel-good chemicals in their brain. That makes sense to them. They feel like, all right, shit, we in this moment right now. That's my pussy. Here's his gun. She want to fuck him right then and there. They don't care if the car crashed. He could have been like, yo, come get on top of me while I'm driving.
And see, that's fine. You want me to get on top of you while you're driving? That's what's up. You want me to give you head while you're driving? That's what's up. You ain't got a strong arm me into doing this shit. The fucked up fact about it is that I've had a gun pulled on me by a dude that wanted me, and that shit is not cute. That shit is fucking scary. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds terrifying, actually.
It's terrifying. It is terrifying. And I think that's why that shit, like, triggered me so bad. Because I've literally had this happen to me. And, I mean, not to the point where he's trying to, like, aim it in my cooch. But it's aimed at me because you're trying to prove a point of me being yours or whatever. And that is some crazy shit. That is a hell no. That is a I'm going to leave at my earliest chance. And I'm never coming back. Period.
That's the only choice you have at that point.
Right.
All right. Checking in the cut. Why is everybody saying what the fuck Trey? What? Because I look at porn on Twitter?
No, because the whole gun situation.
Oh, because I posted it. Oh yeah. Well, look, it ain't me. I didn't say to do it, but I'm totally against it. But we try not to kink shame here. Everybody should have their kink, and Dennis is right. That does play with the endorphins and everything, and you know the fear factors. I get it. I can understand it. I can't exactly condone it. It's just... You
said what? Fuck, Drew? Okay, I'm sorry. Real quick, in the comments, Drew Gadoni, I am sorry. Fucking a girl with a 9mm, I would just say this better make sure you're not a premature shot.
Yeah, the door, homie. Get out. But it's. I think that things are definitely changing. I don't know if it's necessarily for the better. I've dealt with New York Raws who pulled knives on me, and it was a little hot, so I guess I can kind of empathize. But at the same time, I'm a domineering individual. You are not about to run this. I'm going to disarm you. I'm going to fuck you over the couch, and you're going to shut the fuck up. And this is how we going to do this. But anyway, anything else on this topic?
Okay. My whole thing is just...
Shoot up the club properly.
Go ahead.
My whole thing is just be smart, y'all. Make smart choices. Make smart choices when it comes to partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, and it's not, I know nobody's perfect or anything like that, but you know a dangerous individual, you know what I'm saying, after a couple of interactions or whatever. Be smart about who you're allowing into your body, period.
Tell your daughters. Show your daughters that picture. Like, don't let no dude do this to you. I'm sorry. That's just.
And also teach your sons to not put a pistol into a female's vagina.
Facts.
That too.
Facts. Big facts.
I'm telling my son. Matter of fact, hey, little. You got to say that.
Wait, so what do you say to women now where the thug ain't really like a street dude no more? It's the smart dude where he's safe thug. Like, how do you tell a woman to look out for that? Because you're willing to let your guard down because you're going to bring this dude around your family. But then now he got a pistol and he's putting it in your pussy. So it's like...
Again, nobody's... Of course, people, nobody is perfect. You're not going to find that perfect individual. I'm not about to make it seem like, anybody is. But to me, there are warning signs. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless if the dude is smart, regardless if the dude is a street dude, regardless of if it's an everyday, regular, schmegular dude, like Trey would say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There are signs from, like, your interactions, your conversations. You know when somebody's ideals are in line with yours. You can tell when something might be off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's just to be... It's to be... aware of your surroundings, to be aware of your surroundings, and just to look for those clues or whatever, those subtle hints that be like, okay, something is fucked up here.
Yeah, and even if you believe that they're not something big, like you might think to yourself, maybe I'm making a big deal out of this. Maybe it's not. It doesn't matter if one other person doesn't think it's a big deal. It's a matter of it's what you think is a big deal. So even if you don't think it's something that is important to notice or even thing to say, you need to go to yourself and think, like, is this something that I want to deal with on an everyday basis if this was to pan out for the rest of our lives? And if you can, and it's not, just let it go. There's no point. There's no point of trying to continue with something. Like, if somebody cheats on you in a short amount of time of you knowing them, baby, no. You got to go. Like, if you're showing me signs of there's a difference between, like I said, if I like aggression. There's a difference between me liking aggression to you being possessive. Like, you can't do this without me.
Like a little possessiveness.
We like a little possessiveness, but not no crazy shit.
Regardless of the fact of how much I like possessiveness out of a man, there's a certain degree. So, like, how I might like possessiveness, Royal might not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might let him go 2 steps more than what Royal might. Or vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So it's all depending on the person and who you are. So that's why I always say, before you start messing with somebody, really get to know who you are as a person before you start really messing with somebody else. Because if you just let them allow you to do anything and everything, you're going to end up with a bullet in your pussy just like this girl. Because I never think it's going to be a horrible thing.
Right, all right. So I hope that the most important thing is that you are obtaining consent before you move into any type of direction. But speaking of consent, recently in the news, there was a little toss-up about Snow White and the 7 fucking dwarves. And this is another thing that I saw that kind of set me on a spiral, and I thought it would be pertinent to talk about it here on this show because consent is important. But the main story is that some people were attempting to cancel Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs because in the story, people were mad because the prince went to her and kissed her and woke her up without consent. So they don't want their children to see a man doing that to a woman without consent. And I just thought it was funny, and I thought we could have a conversation about how woke culture and cancel culture and everything else is kind of poisoning everything and making something as innocent, seemingly innocent, as Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs seem like it's a rape story. Or rape. Sorry, can't use that word here.
Sorry, I wouldn't say that.
Do they want do they not want mommy or daddy to wake each other up out of their sleep? I think that's a very cute thing to see as a child, to see, like, you know, parental showing each other love and affection, whether they're aware of it or not. You know, there's a lot of times where they will see, you know, they wake parents out of their sleep, or they'll see the one parent wake the other parent out of their sleep, or they'll just like come up behind and give a peck of, like, you know, so there's little things like that I feel like they're making way bigger of a deal than the other things that have to be addressed. If you're going to be talking about Snow White and consent, who consented Snow White with these 7 men in his daggone house? Who consented to that? You know,
the dwarves. It was the dwarves' house, though.
Just keep it out of the fairy tales. That's the whole thing. Just keep it out of the fairy tales.
Hey, Snow White was out there busting down for 7 days a week.
Wow.
She was awake doing it. You know what I'm saying? She was doing what she was doing. So she was out here living her life, bopping that pussy out and down this train well, you know, with these 7 men, dopey, sleepy, horny, and all them. Okay? What's the difference between that and Prince Charming coming to wake you up and be like, hey, yo, it's time to take you out these streets, girl. Me take you home. Me take you in a residential. Like, what's the difference? You know?
Yeah.
Dennis, what do you have to say about that?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. It's
you
like,
can't be on here speechless.
It's all semantics, man. It's just everybody in here had a good point. So it's like you just have to talk to your kids when they get it. Because I never seen my parents kiss at all. Like, most I seen was like I ran into them while they was having sex at the worst possible times as a kid, and that's it.
Oof. I'm sorry.
Wow.
It's happened to me too.
It's happened to me too.
Right.
Yeah, no, never had that. Never been there. Never had that.
Wait,
consider yourself lucky.
I have to look to make sure my parents aren't watching real quick. But yeah, I realized that me and my mom had something in common.
I'm not even get into that. But basically the conversation is consent getting out of hand. I think the consent is still very important to any relationship that you have, whether personal, professional, sexual. It's important to be consensual in the things that you do. You have to be going along with the program. It's not something that can be toyed with or should be played with, because if anything, this situation, and this is a gross example, it can turn some lesser minds off of the idea, like, fuck that, I'm going to ask for shit. You know, the people in this country go to extremes very easily. So we have to be very careful with the things that we do. But how far would be too far? How far is too much consent? Like, what, too much wokeness, I guess, in this area? Because, like we said, she was, well, I didn't say this, but she was literally, in the original story, she was dead. She was dead, and then true love's kiss is what brought her back to life. And now you're trying to cancel it because you've got nothing better to do on a Saturday night but to fuck with Disney movies.
I mean, it's just like with this, it's like with the Pepe Le Pew kind of thing that happened. Like, they took him away because of, like, he was always overdoing it. Now, I will say, in some form, yes, looking back on, like, when I was a child, seeing things in a child's eye, I didn't see anything that was wrong with it. I was like, if I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of, like, annoying. Like, she doesn't want to be touched or whatever like that. But then I seen it as, like, he's overly loving on her. He's, like, adorning her. He's giving her as much love and affection that he possibly could. He's letting her know that he likes her. This is how a person is saying, like, you know, he really likes her, whatever. As an adult, now looking back at that, I can see how that could misconstrue my thoughts of if a man is over pursuing and he's overly on me and trying to show me over affection and I don't want it, then that's okay. I understand why you don't want to have that stigma anymore. And then we can't sit here and say, well, that was made in the 1930s, 1940s. We all grew up on it. What's the problem now? We have to start changing things. Just because it was okay these past 60-something years doesn't mean that it should be okay for the next 60-something, you know? But there's other things that we should be looking at and focusing on more so than these little minuscule things. The Sleeping Beauty thing, I think that is, the Snow White thing, I think it's just, like, completely...
Yeah. But Sleeping Beauty is another one.
Like,
because she was also rescued from True Love's kiss or whatever. She was sleeping.
But that's the point of every every single freaking Disney movie is we always need a man to come and rescue us. And that is why they started, no, I'm just saying, that is why they started changing a lot of Disney movies. You have The Princess and the Frog. Tiana was, a person who wanted to persevere, become a chef, and have her own restaurant. She did that without a man's help. She found love along the way, but she did it without a man. Then you have that movie, that Disney princess movie with, I think it was like a Scottish movie or something.
Brave.
She wanted to do archery, and then she ended up having to save her mother and her brothers from being bears for the rest of their life and stuff.
You knew that Moana, where she had to rescue the entire.
She had to save her whole island because her daddy was like, "Me, chief, I say I'm right," and she was like, "Okay, daddy, die then. I mean, what you want me to do?" So it's just one of those things where you're starting to see Disney movies go into an active state of showing that women can be independent and men can be independent, doing what they need to do, whatever. And that's why you have that movie. I think it's Wreck-It Ralph 2. Where the girl in the Candyland, there's a scene in there where all the Disney princesses are like, have you been in distress? Has a man kissed you without consent? Has a man saved you? And it's just like, oh, are you upset because everybody thinks that you need a man to win? She's like, yes, then you are a princess. Like, they're throwing shade within the movie. So I think we're getting into a new age where movies are developing and becoming more, characterized that women are strong by themselves, yes, but at the same time, we shouldn't disrupt that fantasy that true love exists.
Facts. And not only that, but I think we also have to look at the fact that it's a generational thing, okay? Because look at when these movies were made. You're talking about Snow White and you're talking about Sleeping Beauty. What are these, like 30s, 40s, and even further back than that because it's a grim fairy tale, right?
1800s.
Right. So as we move forward and our culture progresses and we're showing little girls now that we could be more than Disney princesses and, that we can actually do things for ourselves and we don't need a man to rescue us, that's where the new generation of movies is going. But what I don't think we should be doing is going back into the older generation and dissecting what it is that they did or anything like that, because it is kind of toxic to me in a way, because things weren't viewed that way back then. And not only that, it's just that in this particular fairy tale, it was either what was the alternative? It was either she was going to be dead or he was going to wake her up with true love's kiss. Like the alternative is that, okay, your ass is just going to sit there. You dead. Now what?
Can be dead. And all those still, like, if you didn't, that's what was going to happen. Real quick, just side note, checking the comments. Chuck Clark, I did, but then again, I read the Fables comic. Okay, yeah, Fables. Fables is a great comic. Shout out to another show. That I won't mention here, but it is not Disney. It's Brothers Grimm. Yes, Gadoni, we know. Jamaica, he was perpetuating the R-word culture. That's BS. See, the thing that pisses me off about this whole consent conversation is that I know every woman that I know has been through some type of situation dealing with the R word. I understand that, but I feel like a lot of these things when they put this stuff out into the world, it makes it seem like all men are dangerous, all men are bad. Like, we're not all like that. Like, I hate that. Like, I watched Pepe Le Pew chase that same cat around for 50 years, and I ain't want to hop on nobody.
All right.
Yeah.
Not at all. Like, and none of my friends have. None of my brothers have. Not my uncles. Not like, this is not something that media is not going to change our minds and force us into doing something gross and just egregious. Like, we're not going to do that. So perpetuating that stigma out there about men pisses me off. And another thing is, I'm going to get a little toxic. I got to get a little toxic.
Oh Lord.
When you're, I think there should be unity as far as the sexes, and you should be telling a story where you're both coming together. It shouldn't be. I agree. It shouldn't be a man saving a woman all the time or anything. And it should. But I also think that it shouldn't be. We are women. We are independent. We don't need y'all, because motherfuckers, you do. We need each other. Like, stop this. I don't need a man bullshit. Now, stop putting that shit in the cartoons. that will hurt the children, in my opinion, more than this other shit. You make it seem like I don't need a partner. I don't need somebody to grow old with. That's bullshit. You do need somebody.
I
So
think
stop
when we
this
say you
whole.
don't need them, especially if we're talking about the children's shows, movies now, it's just to say that you don't have to wait for a man to save you.
To complete your
And
life.
right, you don't have to wait for one to complete your life. Like you can fight your own battles. You know what I mean? And it's not even necessarily saying that, somebody, a partner isn't needed, because you had partners in these other shows. I mean, like Moana, she had Maui. You know what I'm saying? They worked together. It was a friendship based type of thing.
And it was
And
not romantic. It was an adult and like because he was a demigod. You know what I'm saying? So he
right.
was 100,000 years older, and it was just one of those things where you had a male that was there for her sister. She went to go seek out help on her own, and while seeking out help, she did need him at some point in time to help her win and put the daggone eye back in the woman and all that other stuff. But it just goes to show that like Royal was saying, like it's not saying that we need somebody like that. Like if it's not the desire that you want to push that you need to have anyone in this world to depend on anything.
But don't you
It's a
feel
mere
like?
fact of-
I'm sorry to cut you, but don't you feel like we have enough of that in our media now, where we have a lot of things that's just I don't. It is blatantly saying I don't need men. It's blatantly saying that. It's blatantly trying to keep the sexes apart. It's blatantly trying to tell women, go off. You don't need a man. Try to come back and get them later when you're like 30 or 40. Try that.
No,
I think it's more so like you're building them up. You know what I mean? Because like I said again,
Why can't we
it's
build
generation.
together? Why
I'm
can't
not
we
saying
build
that we
together?
can't build together, but you have to look at.
Perpetuated. Go ahead, Royal. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying you just have to look at and I think Chase, you're probably saying the same thing. Is that little girls and women and stuff back generational? What was our aspiration? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be housewives. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
as we progress into more, women are in politics. Women are astronauts. You know what I'm saying? We are at the forefront of a lot of these, important positions, and we're trying to teach our little girls that, hey, you can do this too. You don't have to aspire to be a housewife. However, you can also be one while you're getting in your bag.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to teach
I
them.
understand Trey was saying, why is it being put out? But you have to understand how long it's been perpetuated that women we desperately need a man. We need to have somebody to run and protect the household. We need somebody to be the greatest figures. And obviously, we need someone to be in the household. We do need a great father figure to our children. We do need that protection. We do need that. But it's been pushed on us that without man, you have literally nothing. You will not exist. You will not live correctly if you don't have a man. There's people in different cultures, different parts of the world. If by the age of 17, 18, that you haven't found a person that's literally grooming you at that point, or someone who's found interest in you to marry, you're worthless. There's no reason for you to exist in this world anymore. You if a man hasn't found seeking you, why are you living at that point? So there's it's been pushed on women for so long that without men, who are you? What do you exist? I mean, look at it like the shows from the 50s and 60s, stuff like that. The question first is well, where's your husband? Well, how's the man? Blah, blah, blah. If something happened with kids in the school, well, everything's okay. Well, where's Mr. in the household? Maybe that's why your children is running around being rampant or being a bad child. There's certain things that were perpetuated and put on so long that women had to have a man exist in their life. Without it, there's no reason for them to breathe. So now that we're in a place where the older generations, sadly you're saying, are dying off, we're not having that put into us any longer. We are now starting to change boomers' minds about certain things because they're still trying to push that onto us, or even Gen X.
Well, let me say, because we're moving away. We're moving away from the topic. But as far as the whole, like you said they're dying off. They're set. A lot of women, not all, are setting themselves up for failure by not having a partner. I'm not saying you need somebody to take care of you. You need somebody to provide. I'm preaching partnership. That's the one thing that me and Mr. Samuels don't get along with. I'm preaching partnership. I'm preaching we are both in this together to build up together. So when you go off by yourself, that's one thing I do agree with him is that you go off, you build your empire by yourself, and then you try to come back and pick up some dude. He don't want you at that point. He's already off doing his thing. He's already spent his 40 years building up his stuff. He don't want you at this point. And then you going through, what do they call it? Then people end up going through, what's the thing in Japan, kodakoshi, where they dying alone. And nobody wants that. So stop. I don't think the story that should be told is be independent, build your own shit up,
But
you
Trey,
go your own way. I think it should be,
ahead,
you should get an equal partner.
listen, man. What you saying makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in this time right now,
Mhm.
women have lapped us at least 3, 4, 5 times. As men, we are weak right now. We're not suitable partners.
Mhm.
I have had sex with more women just because I can use soliloquy in a sentence. Just how far the bar has dropped to where they just seek consistency in conversation, and you make them laugh, and they will drop their standards for us. And that's sad that they have to do that.
Mhm.
But the proper men right now is just trash. And
But
they
is
think-
that,
Oh, go ahead.
but is that the majority, or is that a select few?
That's the majority.
You honestly think that it's the majority of men are below, like the majority of us, the good bulk of us, like myself, are we're lower middle class. We are working 9-to-5 jobs. We don't have a record. We don't have a drug problem. We don't have
And
an
that's
abuse
the reason
problem.
why.
Me
That's
and
the
you-
reason why. That's literally the reason that I think that's what he's saying. If I correct me if I'm wrong, it's saying because you have all that and because you're such a good man, you don't have a record, you do good by your women, whatever. If you, like Dennis saying, if you give me even the smallest amount, but because of all of that you cater to, I'm like, oh, this is fine. This is great. Even if you really have a trash personality, because of all that you just listed, you doing the littlest thing because of the worst I've experienced, I'm like, this is heaven compared to what I had beforehand. So that's why he's saying, like, it's dropped so low that you doing that, and that's just you being a man by yourself and to yourself. That's not even accommodating for a woman. That's just you living for yourself. Because of who you are just by yourself, that's just like, oh, this is great. Like, simple things shouldn't make us happy. But because of the amount of
Trash.
downgrade, trash that has came along our way. No fault. Like, not saying that it's only these men's fault. That's the reason why. I mean, if we've accepted it, we've accepted it. But because of what's came our way, the goodness that you bring, and it might not even be the greatest, we're going to look at it and be like, oh, this is bomb. I just saw Ilana on one of her recent episodes just say, I have never dated a man who's made more or the same amount as me. And the reason why I still date these men, because she was talking to these boss ladies, these women, she goes, the reason why I still dated these men, because it wasn't about what they could provide for me. It was about who I was and who they were to me and who I was to them. It had nothing to do about providing or financial stability or nothing like that. It was about who am I to them and who are they to me? Basic, like, common basis.
Okay.
And
That's
perfect example.
good.
I have a group chat with me and my homeboys from the neighborhood. It's like 10 of us. And I don't have that many guy friends. I don't even really know how to be around them because I spend more time with women, and that helped develop me to the person I am. So one of our homeboys got shot. He died. And I put in the group chat, I'm like, yo, I'm not dealing with this. How are y'all handling it? One person said something, and everybody else deflected. So that right there is another thing against us, where we can't be vulnerable with each other, with the people that we would kill for and die for. Then you got, I asked them what's their hobbies, and all they talk about is some shit I like 2K or video games, but then they start cackling and carrying on about dumb shit like what rapper got this, and I'm just like, y'all got there's no more depth to you. Like, there's nothing else you got to pull from, and that's in dudes, and that's just within my neighborhood. So carry that on, and it's just like women have to lower their standards. It's like, okay, well, at least he treats me right. I remember one girl I dated, her uncle was like, yo, as long as you don't put your hands on her, like, you cool with me. So
God, and why
that's
is that the
like,
standard?
like the bar is so fucking low.
I agree
Why
that
is
that
that the
bar is
standard?
low.
Constantly had to go through adversity to where they the top. They the top right now.
Come on, Dennis.
I'm not denying the level that women are in, the level that they're at right now. Not denying that at all. I totally agree with you there. I just think that the men that they aspire to get are either out of their reach or non-realistic expectations. And I think that I've seen, and I gotten flack for this, but I think they should lower their expectation to the regular dude, not the dude who's on the corner shooting dice every day, but the 9-to-5 guy who they don't see. They don't look at him and they need to start going to those guys instead of having the expectation of the quote unquote high value guy or the thug who's going to put a fucking Glock in your pussy. You know, you should look in the middle, because the middle is the bulk of us. The middle is the guys who are going to work every day, who are going to love you. We may not be the most interesting out there. We may not be the best looking, but you might want to lower your standards a little bit to get one of those.
Okay, so and let me ask you this. What age demographic are you talking about? Because out of the women that I know, okay, and we're talking about women, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say late 20s up until the early 50s. Or, you know, just it's a wide age range. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not going that high. I'm just saying. But we're looking for that, and not necessarily me because I'm already married, but...
Yeah, you are.
But you're talking about women who are looking for that regular, schmegular guy. Okay, we're looking for the dude that's going to be good to us. We're looking for the dude that's going to meet us at the table with something. We're looking for loyalty. We're looking for companionship. We're looking for somebody who actually tells the fucking truth and is about their word. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for the good dude. That's all we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you might have this handful of women or whatever that's looking for the high value men, or this other handful of women who haven't had full life experiences, or they see shit on TV, or they're reading shit in books that appeals to them for this, you know, thug ass dude who might get clapped in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, or the dude that's going to put the gun in your pussy or whatever. Those are handfuls of women, but the majority of women are looking for the good dude. Like, point blank period. That's what we're looking for. We don't have, you know what I'm saying, we're not looking for the dude with like delusions of grandeur. We're not looking for the dude who has 6 figures. We're not looking for the dude who's doing rotation dating. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for stability. We're looking for a dude that, you know what I'm saying, has some drive and some ambition. That is what we're looking for. So we're looking at y'all.
Yeah, and it's been dropped so low. Like personally for me, in my dating scheme of everything like that. But the men that have been presented to me, I'll just be on the phone with girls like, oh yeah, he's cool, like nice conversation, blah blah blah, whatever may have you. But they do that one thing off of like my love language list. I'm just like, yo, this is it right here, yo. This is
that one thing, yo.
And it's that one thing, and you know what that one thing is? Affection. It's always and most always is affection. It's like, I don't need you to be kissing all up on me all the time. Obviously, nobody wants all that. But the rarity that it's shown, I'm just like, are y'all on the DL or something? Is there something going around that I don't understand? Because it literally phases me. It literally confuses me. The men are always talking about women. And then when you have a female who wants just to be around you, not being on the stage 5 clinger stuff, but like who just wants to be around you, just wants to receive affection for you. Yo, you on me too much. So do you want your mans on you? Like, what are you talking? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's about, I know you sound confused, Trey, and we'll talk about it in another episode, but all it is just like, it's mainly affection that's being lost. But that's what I'm saying. Like, personally for me, when it comes to dudes, when I'm talking to, the bar is set so low that a guy who just simply will hold my hand just to do it, I'm running home and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I think I found him. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's and Dennis knows it because I talk to Dennis all the time. So that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Roy.
I'm sorry, real quick. Because Jamaica just said it for me, and this is the question that I have for myself. But she says, but since we should be lowering our expectations, is it fair to say that there are men who need to do the same? And that was going to be my question. When is it that the guy is going to start looking at a different type of woman? Okay, because
the regular woman.
Yes, the regular woman. Because you are if you're chasing the same type of chick, if you're attracted to the same toxicity and the same type of woman, what do you expect to get? What do you expect to get out of the person that you're dealing with?
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity.
Body built women who are on IG looking fine all the daggone time, and you want to pursue that.
Right. Okay, now I gotta tag you.
That's Kevin Samuels right there. You need to lower your expectations there, okay? Don't
now I'm about to tag in. Okay.
Wants you,
hold on, let me say. Hold on, no, because me personally, if we going down the expectation road, men and women have different expectations. You don't have the same expectations for what you want that men do. Men want different things. It's a caveat to everybody's expectations and everybody's preference. So if you're not that person's preference, you're not going to go after that person. Me personally, I'm not trying to get an IG model. I can't afford them bitches. I'm not going there. The hell? No, I'm a regular dude and looking for a regular female. But I have expectations as far as my preference. Mm-hmm. So it's a mixed cocktail when it goes into dating in the fields right now. So you gotta find. Why are you making that face, Joe? What's up? Say what you gotta say.
No, Dennis was dancing. I was just confused what beat he was
okay. But yeah, it's a mixed cocktail out
I
there.
was making a face. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
But you got dudes out there that just fuck anything that are messing it up for everybody as far as expectations go. They'll just stick their dick in anything. And that gives people that gives some women the impression that, oh, I can get any type of dude. No. And then on the other side, there are women who will fuck any dude just because they want to fuck. And that gives some dudes the same expectations. So it's a mix. It's gray areas on everything, yes. And I wish the world was more black and white, but it's not. What's up?
I have a real question for us, like everybody here. Do y'all even know what your expectations are once you have, if you haven't recognized your trauma and acknowledged it, do you have any expectations for anybody?
Come on, Dennis.
Like, if you take your trauma out of it.
You see, that's my friend, right?
Come on, Dennis.
That's my best friend.
My personal expectations are loyalty. I want to be with somebody who's going to be on my team. Like I'm on a mission to build a podcasting empire. Somebody's going to help me support. Somebody's going to help me build this thing up from the ground up. That's what I'm looking for. And yeah, I do have my physical expectations. Yes. I'm not asking for an IG model. And no woman I've ever dated is even, well, one, but yeah, no woman I've ever dated outside of that one has ever reached that level of physicality. So my expectations are pretty much at this point at 36, you got to be on my program. You got to be about me and what I'm doing. Yes, you can have your own identity. Yes, you can have your own plans. I'm not saying you got to give up all your hopes and aspirations just for mine. I'm not that fucking blind. So you have to be about me and I'll be about you. So that's my major expectations.
But what you said, it sounds like it's a codependency when she's her own individual. You did state that she's her own individual, but she really can't mess up what you got going on. She'll support it regardless because you're going to be leading. So those shouldn't really be expectations. She's naturally going to follow you.
I mean, it's still an expectation, though.
Huh?
It's still an expectation. It's still something that I want out of my partner. It's still something that I'm gonna get.
Are you gonna gauge it day by day, or is it something you're gonna hold in until where she feel like you're like, all right, I can't do this shit no more?
Nah, like I said, we preach communication. I'm big on communication. Like I'm going to talk to this person, and we're gonna know our step by step, day by day, and that's once we've established a full-fledged relationship. It's not just, oh, shorty, I'm talking to you, and you got to be on the boat. You got to do what I say from when I'm just starting to talk to you. No, you develop relationships. You say what?
No, I was saying not being on the bus like Stevie. But Royal, when it came to you getting married, what were your expectations for your husband? Like, what is it that you seeked in your husband for him to be like, you know what, I could be with this person? I guess in the same gauge of what Dennis had asked Trey.
Man, so that's really a good question. So before Darren and I even got, I'm sorry, Abducer, my bad, saying his name and stuff on my bad. Anyway, so before we even got engaged, we had a conversation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we just talked about our expectations in our relationship, what we expected of the other, what we expected as far as child rearing is concerned. And it was really more so just, like Trey said, that communication in our relationship where we pretty much set the standard, like, this is what I'm expecting. So you're talking about the loyalty. You're talking about us being there for each other. We're talking about, us holding each other down and building something together. And we had the same ideals when it came to, outside of like discipline, because the guy is always the one who wants to like whoop first and ask questions later. But outside of that, we had the same ideals when it came to child rearing. We wanted the same things for our children. And we were both bringing something to the table as far as our finances were concerned. Like, another thing that I liked about him is that he was a leader. Because in my previous relationships, I was the man. Like, I was the go-getter. I was the one paying the bills. I was the one maintaining the rent. I was the one taking care of the kids. I was playing both roles. And that was even when I was in a relationship. And with Hubducer, he was just like, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it was that I wanted to take care of, if I was stressed out about it, he'd be like, okay, you go take a seat. I'll take care of it. And that's when it came to, like, the kids, or, you know, if we were talking about a money situation, if we were talking about anything. His biggest thing was, like, you are already taken care of so much, let me take care of you. And that was when, you know, it clicked for me, like, this is somebody that I can be with forever.
I think speaking for a person who has
Forever.
All right, nobody asked that.
Speaking, because I know that there are some people who will have, like, you know, self-proclaimed or even therapy actually proclaimed, you know, daddy issues, mommy issues, for being a person who lost their father at 7 and only then had to depend on uncles, brothers, cousins as what is a man to be. So in the 7 years, acknowledging who the person is in memory of 3 to 4 years at that point of who my father was, I knew what to look for in a man, you know, stability, comfortability, standing in ground of knowing who he was, taking care of his family. You know, the fundamentals of what you believe a man is supposed to be in any regard. But then growing up, you don't have that display showed, especially to the other parent. You don't keep seeing that over and over again. So then you don't have any examples, and then you're growing up by like agenda setting in media and all this other stuff, and you're seeing all you can do is go around and see like your aunts and who they got married to as far as men and everything like that. So then it's kind of like, what expectations do you have in that setting to run towards men with? And like I said, my whole thing is just affection. Like, my father was not. To my knowledge and my brain, I do not have a memory of my father showing affection to my mother, but I know that there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of like her bugging him and he would just allow it, like kind of things like that. But it was just one of those things of like, it was a partnership, just like Trey was saying, a partnership, you know, like she worked in the daytime, he worked at night. They traded off shifts. You know what I'm saying? All the things that you would thought a woman was doing, my father was doing. He was cooking, making sure we were taken care of, taking us to the doctor's appointments, everything like that, because they understood how they had to work in a combo in a household. Yeah. So then when it comes into expectations of going, that's why when a person says and they show me affection, I'm just like, this is great. This is whatever. And it could be due to lack of affection from a father figure because of how long I didn't have one. But I think that's what Dennis was, you know, and hopefully we get him back on because I think something happened to his connection. But that's where it comes to, I think that's where he's coming from. Have you addressed your traumas or dysfunctions in order to see what you're really expecting out of a partner? Because if you haven't dealt with them, how are you going to expect something out of a partner if you're not able to realize, this is what I see as traumatic, I should stay away from this, or this is something that came from my trauma, and I realize this is something that I actually do need to deal with, and I need this in my life, so this is what's going to make me attracted to the person.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Trey. I was just saying that's a real thing when you're talking about childhood traumas, because you don't realize, you know what I'm saying, sometimes even as an adult, you don't realize how the things that happened in your childhood affected you, especially when you're dealing with relationships. Because, you know, Chase, like you were saying, just for us to be so accepting of just that one thing on our list, like, damn, he gives me affection, it's wonderful. You don't realize how something in your life could have happened to make you say, damn, I just want somebody to love me. You know what I mean? I just want somebody to treat me good. And I'm not saying, Chase, that was your personal experience, but what I'm saying is that it's a real thing. Like, there was so many things that happened in my childhood. Like, outside of my father, the men in my family were literal trash. Okay? I mean, like, the dealing with multiple women,
That's all of us. That's all. That's all our uncles and
man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just saying the womanizing, the drinking, the drugging. It was a lot of shit that went down, and so you don't have any, positive male role models that can definitely, mess up your future relationships, and you're willing to accept a lot more than you should.
Yeah, and before we move on, I think the last note we should take from this is like, if you deal with anything or whatever, if you're doing anything around a visualization of a child, make sure you're doing it properly. You don't want to raise a child with more traumatic issues, like even if that's not your direct child, you still have an influence on them. You still make an impact on their life. Even if that's your cousin, like your niece, like it doesn't matter. Make sure if you are older, make sure you're just giving some form of great, I don't know, just great recommendation for them later on in life. Because they can say, this is the quality I see in my cousin. I see this in a relationship. I love it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it incestual weird. It just shows that you gave this person so much power in this one example of who you are. They want that in a partner. And I think that's what we all do in life any which way.
Yeah. I think we've hit on a lot of good points here tonight, ladies. But it is unfortunately that time to wrap this thing up. I really love this conversation. We're going to have to welcome Dennis back again because he has really good points.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys in the comments for joining us here. You guys have been great. Awesome. Thank you. Like the show, drop a like, share it, join the conversation, and also join the Discord afterwards because we are going to be having our aftercare conversation. So if you have any questions, concerns, if I said something wrong, you want to tell me what I said, come on in. I don't care.
Beat them.
I'm ready. Let's do this. So, if you got something you want to say, seriously.
But thank you guys so much for watching us, following us, supporting us, liking and following our pages. Make sure you're following us on, I think we have a Twitter also, but make sure you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the Kinkazoid Podcast. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. Once again, we just really love and appreciate all the love that you guys have shown us. This is our fourth or fifth episode, I believe.
Fifth episode. 5 episodes in.
5 episodes.
Congratulations.
In.
Yay.
The amount of love and appreciation. Now drink to that. A lot of love and appreciation has been given to us, and I really do appreciate it. So if you want to become part of the Kinkazoid Podcast one day, like Dennis did today, make sure that you hit us up on Instagram and just DM us. Let us know if you want to slide in our DMs appropriately, and let us know if you want to come on the show. And other than that, if you want to join the podcast, follow us on Discord at the Kinkazoid Podcast, so that way you can come in on the aftercare and you can have some private time with the Kinkazoid.
Yes, and please make sure to follow your hosts. I am Royal Rain on all social media platforms. Trey, you right?
Yeah, that joke just went.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm Royal Rain on all social media platforms. I can't talk today. Chase, tell them where they can find you.
Did we lose her?
Chase, you good?
Did we lose her? She's frozen.
All right, she's frozen. All right.
There she goes. It's your boy Trey Proper. You know I'm at Trey Proper on everything. For show phenom. Come holler at your boy. But we gotta go. We gotta go.
Wait a minute. I think we got Chase
she's coming back. Is she coming back?
Chase.
And I dropped the link to the Discord in the comments. But yeah, come join the conversation. We got some great things to talk about in the standby room. And we're out, people. I'll let you later.
Thank you.